Welcome to part 2 of the needle felted fox tutorial. Now that we have our head complete, we're going to work on the body today and finish our fox. So first we're going to make the arms, or the legs, the upper ones. And to do this, I'm taking a little bit of my core wool or my white wool and wrapping it up very tightly in a narrow cylinder. And then I'm going to start felting the arm. And you just want to felt across, lay it flat on your mat, just felt it across and turn it frequently. You can turn it in on itself and it will slowly make it a little bit smaller and narrower. The less wool you have, the better, to make them real small and skinny arms. And I measured up to the body, make sure they're about the length I like. Then you can make a second one. And once you have the second one made, we'll start to add the color to the arms. So I'm going to start with my orange. Just take a little bit at a time, and I'm just going to wrap it around the upper part of the arm. And the lower part of the arm will be black. So I'm going to wrap it first, and then start felting it down. You can just lightly felt this. You don't want your needle to go through the entire arm and out through the other side. You just want to felt over the entire orange. And then we can add the black. So same thing, just wrap it around the lower part of the arm and go all the way around the end of the arm as well. You don't want any white exposed where the black is. I left a little white on the end of the arm where it will attach to the body, because we'll cover this up later. You can see I'm adding the black all the way on the end of the arm. Once they are fully covered, then we can felt them to the body. And to do this, we're just going to felt them right at where the arm attaches to the body. I'm just checking, making sure they're both about the same length. And then right at that white where I left it, we'll just felt that end down. And you want to very securely attach it. So keep felting it until you can pull on the arm and it doesn't come off. You want it nice and snug on there. I'm checking the position with the head. It can be just a little bit lower than the top of your cone here. And then we'll repeat for the other side. And now we'll attach the head. So I like to hold the head and the body together. Usually it's easier to lay it down. You can also use pins to pin the two pieces together, like sewing straight pins, if you can't hold it very well. And you just want to felt through the top of your cone there into the head. Just make sure you're not felting too far into the head, because you don't want to go out the back side of it either. You just want to make sure you're felting right into the center of the head. So laying it down like this, I'm kind of going at quite an angle, almost parallel to the body, but not quite. A little bit angled up and into the head. And you want to do this all the way around the head until it's nice and secure and it doesn't come off. After the head's on, we'll add the white to the front of the body. This is where the belly is. If you're using white wool for the core, you might not have to do this, but you can always add it. And I like to always felt kind of in one direction. So sometimes your needle, if you can see your needle marks, if they're not going the way you want it to, you can add a little bit more wool on top. Now I have the white wool completely on. And now I'm blending some of my red and orange together, so we can start adding a little bit of the body color. So when I'm blending, I lay two colors on top of each other and then pull them apart with my hands just at the ends and then put them back on top of each other and keep blending like this. It doesn't give you an exact blend, but it makes a nice variation in color. So I'm going to add this color onto where we made our leg circles, as I'll call them. We're just going to add it on top. We'll do this first, and then we'll work on the tail and the legs. So you just want to add a little bit of wool, just enough to cover the white underneath. And do this on both sides. Now we'll make the lower part of the leg, so kind of the foot. So you want to take a little bit of black and roll it up in a really tight, small cylinder. Just kind of short, maybe an inch long. And then we'll felt that. So same thing as we do with the arms, we're just going to felt and turn and felt and turn. Not too far, just into the center of that foot there. And then once it's nice and dense and holding together, you can attach it to the body. So to attach it, you want to just hold it on the bottom of the body there, and then felt one end down and leave the other part sticking out. And we'll make a second one here and show you again a little bit. So I'm going to hold that foot on there and just felt it right at the base of the foot. And my camera angle is a little off when I was recording this video, but I'm letting it stick out a little bit from the body and then felting them through the foot into the bottom of the body. And then make sure that your fox can kind of stand up. The tail will help support when you stand up. So for the tail, we're going to take a little bit of the core wool again and wrap it up into a nice tight cylinder. You can let one end taper, and we'll start felting this. You do want one end to come to a point for the end of the tail. So make sure you felt that into a point. So you just felt that more than the rest of the tail. And another trick for getting the wool more dense, if you're not wrapping tight enough, is you can actually twist it. When you're working with skinny pieces like this, twist it and hold it down and then felt. I'm checking the length of my tail, make it as long as you want. And then we're going to add some color to it. So I'm actually blending the red and orange again with a little bit of black in it. Just a tiny bit to give it some black flecks here and there. And this will be most of the tail color, besides the very tip of it, will be white. So I'm just going to start by adding a little bit of white wool. So you want this wool on the tail to be fluffy. So I actually took a little bit and put it about a half an inch from the end of the tail and felted it more around that half-inch mark and just felt it very lightly towards the tip of the tail so it stays nice and fluffy. You want just enough wool so it covers up that core wool, of course, but you're not felting it down like you do the body color. So we're going to start at the end of the tail and work our way back to the base of the tail with the orange and the red color. So you want to take a little bit of your orange and red, and you want to layer these colors. So you go a little bit farther back from the last color and felt there and leave the end towards the tip of the tail. Leave that fluffy. Don't felt that. So just felt around in a circle where you place the color back. Sometimes I'll very lightly felt a little bit farther down towards the tip of the tail if it's not laying where I want it to be. But we just layer these colors. So you do one layer and then you go back a little bit and add a little bit more. Wrap it around the whole tail and just felt around where you started the new layer. So now I'm felting the tail to the fox body. So I'm just felting right at the base, all the way around the base of the tail into the body of the fox. And I'm doing this right at the bottom of the body. And after you felted the tail on, then you can add the rest of the body color. So you want this to go all the way down the back, around the tail, and over the ends of those arms. So just keep adding body color until all the core wool is covered up. Just make sure you don't cover the front white belly. And now to blend the shoulders a little bit more, you want to add some color right over the shoulder and felt that down even more. I always like to lay the wool in the same direction. So I'm doing this wool up and down along the back of the fox. And the same thing over that arm. I laid a little bit of wool over that shoulder, up and down. And then we'll repeat on the other side to the other shoulder. Once you have that completed, we'll finish around the area of the tail. If you want to make it a little bit more fluffy, you can do the same kind of thing we did before on the tail, just at the base of the tail on the body. Felt it very lightly to have that bushy tail effect. And if you need to put any finishing touches on your fox, go ahead. But that is it for our fox. You should have your completed fox now. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Happy felting!